At that time, we was into the beef with the Bally boys. One time, we was meeting the Bally boys to fight in the plaza, and Yosvani saw his uncle. And when he saw his uncle, and they went to speaking in Spanish, like, I'm like, damn, Fat, what y'all was talking about? First they come out, Fat, we gonna be rich. I said, how we gonna be rich? He said, we gonna be rich. I'm like, man, you tripping, Fat. The next morning, Fat left about the house about 7 in the morning, came back, whole half a kilo of cocaine.
Man, they didn't come back for the cocaine. They came back beast.
New Jack City came out, changed the whole realm of how we saw the game. Everybody was still selling quarters, ounces, quarter keys. I said, man, I ain't doing it. I won't do it like that.
I forget the number you said, but that's a lot of drugs. You said 20-some kilos, what you said?
Oh man, we had access to 300 keys a month.
But a lot of people relate. When you hear the name Micey, you would hear the name Bally Boys.
Man,
if only
Bally
we
Boys,
can touch up on that shit.
Bally Boys was a rival of mine,
Okay.
you know, and these brothers were from the 7th Ward. And back in those days, we fought like men. You see what I'm saying? That's why today I can see a Bally boy, we're gonna hug and we embrace each other because we survivors of a lifestyle, right? We didn't shoot each other on sight. The Bally boys would call my house. We meeting in the plaza for 3 o'clock. Get ready, you fighting this person or you fighting this person. We would meet up, all of us were strapped with pistols, right? We would say, hold this pistol. And we would get in the hands and fight like men. The people who changed that round were people who didn't like to fight. You know what I'm saying? The first brother who didn't like to fight started shooting. Really, the Bally boys and some of their young comrades were the first one to introduce gunplay. You know what I'm saying? So it's details that I can't mention because it's still indictable information that you can't discuss because people still can be indicted. But yes, those brothers from the 7th Ward was the first gun toters, the first gunslingers. You know what I'm saying? They made me start slinging that steel. Yeah. I wasn't a gunslinger. I carried a gun from 15, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think I shot nobody till I was about 17.
You ever been in jail?
Multiple times.
What was it like for you in jail?
Those times I was faced with a couple of hard charges, you know, but I came from a philosophy where I don't waste my money. You know, all my partners used to spend their money bailing out of jail. Mm-hmm. In our days, they had 90 days or 120 to let you go on a felony. So if I was on a red band, I knew I'm gonna be sitting back there 120 days. If I was on an orange band, I'm gonna be sitting back there 90 days. I ain't about to give these people 10 grand to get out of jail on something I knew they couldn't beat me in. You see what I'm saying? If I'm
so
on
after that 90 days, what?
They had to let me out. They can't convict me on something they have no evidence on it. I knew well they didn't have no evidence. If I'm on an attempt murder, if I'm on a murder, whatever it was, I knew the type of people I was running with. It was impossible.
That's nationwide or that's just New Orleans?
That was New Orleans. We're under Napoleon law.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's a different law system we under in Louisiana. But yeah, they had 120 to let me up out of there. And I already knew that the individuals was not coming to court. We are part of a city where snitching was a law. You don't snitch, even if you're the victim of a shooting. You don't come to court. So I already knew my victims wasn't coming to court because they was a part of a lifestyle, a street lifestyle that we all accepted. We gonna deal with this on the street. The only reason I was in jail from secondhand witnesses who told on me. But I don't remember any time an actual victim of some gunplay I had came to court on me.
Bro, you speak about, I forget the number you said, but that's a lot of drugs. You said 20-some kilos, what you said?
Oh man, we had access to 300 keys a month. Man, my game came from my stepbrothers. I had 2 stepbrothers, Yosvani
okay.
and Lester.
Okay, yeah, a lot about them.
So their mama and their uncles and everybody was the plug in our days. So we had direct connection to the plug. So we didn't have any body to go through. One time we was meeting the Bally boys to fight in the plaza, and Yosvani saw his uncle. And when he saw his uncle, and they went to speaking in Spanish, like, I'm like, damn, Fat, what y'all was talking about? First they come out, Fat, we gonna be rich. I said, how we gonna be rich? He said, we gonna be rich. I'm like, man, you tripping, Fat. The next morning, Fat left about the house about 7 in the morning, came back, whole half a kilo of cocaine. That was my first time ever seeing dope. We got the dope. I said, man, I ain't dealing with that, man. I'm breaking houses. You go sell drugs. He left out of the house, went around the ice house, and he went around the ice house selling quarters. He came back later on that night, all that whole half a key that he had was gone. He counting money. I'm like, shit, how you make all that money? He said, bro, this the game. That was the beginning of the game. Uncle came over. They counted up the money, right? It wasn't all the money. And his uncle like, where the rest of the money at? He said, you told me to get rid of it. But Yosvani had lied to his uncle and told him he knew he was already in the game, but we ain't never sold no quarters. So he was selling quarters for $200.
When they normally go for
$325, $275,
yeah.
Right? So he was short on the money that he was supposed to make off it, so he had to give Unc his money, but Unc brought that scale in there and showed the whole game how it went. From that, I still wasn't with it. Yosvani went back around the ice house. Got into it with the brothers around there, because that was their turf. At that time, we wasn't about no beefing over no, our beef was a battle, but we're gonna fight every time we see. Yeah. Now the cats around the ice house is telling Fat, you can't sell doors around here, woo-de-woo-woo. But back in our days when we was breaking in houses, when we got a gun, the first thing we did was sell that gun. Yeah. So we didn't have no guns. Outside the little pistols we had, it wasn't a lot of guns. Now, we're going back on burglary sprees to get more guns because we got a problem on the ice house. We went around the ice house and robbed all of them. Took over the set. So the ice house was our first set. The individuals who we was into it by the ice house, they became the ones who started buying their ounces from us. So in the beginning of the dope game, we were just ounces. You know, we pushed ounces, quarter keys. We didn't know nothing about nothing but that. That's all because we was young in the game. Weight was all we knew. New Jack City came out. Changed the whole realm of how we saw the game. Everybody was still selling quarters, ounces, quarter keys. I said, man, I ain't doing it. I won't do it like that. I was the first one to open up a crack shop, Cornet Court. You know, back in those days, we had a brother used to call Rydell, may God bless the dead. He was a brother that ran a crack shop. He ran Cornet Court, that was his set. So we had to go to the big homie to get approval to start, you know, moving. He was saying, as long as you don't come to this court over here, you good. So I opened up a shop across the street, and that was the beginning.
What happens in a rock shop? When you say the rock shop, what?
Rock shops is basically where you have customers come to your establishment and it's hand to hand behind closed doors. Okay. I never agreed to hustle on the street. Cornet Court was the street hustlers. All the hustlers would run up to the cars, hang in the windows. My mind was different. New Jack City, the movie had changed my whole perspective on the dope game. You know, I was used to selling quarter keys for $6.5. You come through, $6,500, you're gonna get you a quarter key, 9 ounces. That's how we was used to this moving weight. Now, when I saw the movie, it changed my whole mindset from pushing quarter keys to chopping them 9 down, all the way into dime rocks. So now, from instead of me getting 6.5, I was actually making 14, 15 grand. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it changed how I was looking at things. So I went to breaking the whole keys down into dime rocks. And
you would have that in the house, in your shop?
No, I had workers.
Okay. No, not your house, but in your shop. In your shop.
In the shop, the movie gave me the blueprint on how to run a shop.
The police ever bust one of your shops?
Man, the police kicked my door in at least twice a month.
Oh, okay. So they knew you were there?
Yes, the police knew who I was, knew what I was doing. They knew everything.
And you were never concerned about, you know, maybe they'll come and maybe you get time for it or stuff like that?
Nah, brother, as long as the workers followed the rules, they couldn't find the drugs. You see what I'm saying? And if the drugs got found where I told you not to put them, I'm not bailing you out. Because if you put them where I tell you to put them, they can't find the drugs. But if the workers slipped up and tried to hide the dope somewhere else, like one of them hid it in the VCR, okay, that come out your pay. I ain't paying your bill. Cause you was being lazy. You didn't follow instructions. Don't hide dope in the house. You know they coming. Back then we had people who watched. We had a watchman brother named Bird. Bird was the watchman. Bird, you know, if a Bird didn't approve a crackhead, he couldn't get served out of my house.
You had it organized, bro.
Yeah, cause Bird knew all of the smokers. You know, so when Bird said he good, he could come in. If Bird didn't know you and you couldn't come in, you gotta go in that court and get served by one of those people. You see what I'm saying? But my shop ran a certain way. And that all come from New Jack City.